You can say that again.
What?
What you just said.
I don't understand what happened to time. It came in around 8, and now it's much later. And what happened? I mean, I remember when I was 12, you were setting up a little, I think it was setting changing the admins for YouTube channel. Changing the admins for my YouTube channel, and I don't remember when it hit 10. I mean, what was it doing all the time? 8 to 1.
So you were looking at. Oh, you made the synthesis. You made the.
Yeah, I found the website online. You can make your own custom sabers.
Right. So you were designing. You were designing a saber.
Yeah, that
And
always takes it right.
whenever you design,
Takes a lot of
something happens, and you just lose track of time.
Yeah. But actually, yeah.
Actually, what?
I mean, sometimes when I'm designing, I don't lose track of time.
When is that?
Exactly. It's actually
Even when you were younger, when you were 3 or 4, that was the reason why I decided to homeschool you, is because you would get started on a project, and 3 or 4 hours would go by. You know, it's not normal for a kid to really go that long before they're hungry again, and especially for you, because when you're not distracted, every hour and a half you're like, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry.
Think of that, I'm hungry.
We should go eat. But when you would get started on a project or a design of some kind, even when you were 3, even when you were 4, it was like 4 hours would go by, and I'd be like, okay, kiddo, you've got to eat. You've got to pull away from whatever it is that you were doing to eat.
Yeah.
And I knew that if you went to school where they only give you 15 minutes to work on a project, it would just curtail the thing that's so beautiful about you, which is your love for designing things and creating things.
Yeah. I think it's something we've been hiding with, I mean, now that I know to use OpenSCAD, right? Now that I know to use OpenSCAD, it's easier for me to create more professional products. Or professional looking anyways. They might not, you know, they're still 3D printed. But, easier for you to create 3D designs. I mean, they're not, you know, like the best. They're not, you know, like a scale model, or not model, but they're something to be based off of, right? And since they're in OpenSCAD language, which is 3D design language, they're in the SCAD, or what's it called? STL format, which is a 3D printable format, which allows you to 3D print stuff. Yeah. But so now I've been able to focus my designing power. So I come up with a design in my head. I kind of draw it out in my head. I don't like drawing stuff though. Right?
You were a good artist, though. I mean, you've kind of been out of practice a lot, but when you were younger, you drew the cat just great. Well, you know what you were even better at, though, than the drawing?
Cutting, yeah.
When you would cut, like, I remember, what was that thing that you made from Star Wars? The land
speeder.
Land speeder.
47 land speeder or something.
Without even, I don't even think you ever saw a picture of it.
I saw a picture of it.
Well, you saw a video of it.
No,
You saw a 2-minute clip of it.
I saw a picture online. I looked it up.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So from just a picture,
And even still, I can.
you
Yeah,
went,
or at least it used to me.
but you weren't
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at a picture when you did it.
No.
You just went and
Yeah.
cut it out, and you cut it out
When
exactly the right
I
shape.
want to remember something, I can usually remember some sort of design very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been doing my OpenSCAD designing, my 3D designing recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I store a lot of design in my head. I have tons of designs. I need to go design into the programming language,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't had time to do them yet. So, but I still remember.
Have you been recording them anywhere?
No, I still just remember them.
Yeah.
I very usually.
Do you remember? Okay.
I remember
I'll ask you
something
this.
Close to it.
Do you remember all the designs that you made when you were, not designs?
5 years ago, no.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why I'm saying you need to record them so that you make sure that you can remember them, like, let's say you don't have time until 10 years from now.
I don't think I really had very many, actually, designs.
But
Nowadays...
you had lots of ideas for all these businesses you were going to start. Do you remember the name of your business that you were going to
No,
own?
I do not remember all the names of the businesses.
And you had like 7 businesses that you wanted to start.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of them?
One for fashion, and the others were basically one for aerospace, one for airplanes. I think a few others. What were they?
An aviary. You wanted to have an aviary museum, or you wanted to have an aviary, and you wanted to have a music museum.
A music museum?
Yeah, music shop / museum. And
Yeah.
and
You
then
wanted
some
a
kind of
zoo.
craft store that sold. What was it? It was a really cool name about. I want to say rocks or. What do you call those?
Oh yeah, a
boulders?
geology store. There was a geology store that went big. Yeah. Or
Well, no, this
those
was
were kind of rock thing that named it.
maybe, but the store that I'm thinking of was something where you wanted things to go from land to. The store would cover stuff that was on land and also stuff that was in space, and so the title was something that went from land to space, but it was like Boulder to something. I hope we have it written down somewhere.
Well,
It was such a cool title.
yes, I agree that it's definitely good to write things down somewhere. Especially like, names, right? I try to write down all my designs, all my game designs. I have designs for just names, and like ship names or stuff like that, airplane names. I try to write down if I have a name that I've come up with. I try to write it down, and I go bookmark it, and I have a folder of a whole bunch of names, random names. Because names, there's a few words long usually, right? Not very long. Whereas an actual thought, an idea, a design, especially like spaceship or something like that. I try to write down. And as I said, I'm not exactly the best at scale drawings. Yeah. So.
Unless you're cutting it out.
Yeah.
And when you're cutting it out, it's
I'm
like
actually
exact.
much out of practice of that.
Yeah.
That would be very good. I think now more my talent is just creating a virtual image that I can remember. And even though I actually don't remember the actual thing, if I remember a chunk of it, or like a name, usually I remember like a chunk, some sort of key idea about it. So I remember like a key idea about something that's different, that makes it unique. And then I'll remember a name. And with those 2 pieces of information, I can usually rebuild a ship. And a little bit of time constructing a ship while I fly around. It's the problem with designing stuff. When I design it and then I fly, or I test it out.
In your head.
I make an imagine. A lightsaber, I try to imagine using it. And that's how I design the way the ship would work. If I'm designing like a starship or something, I fly it around, and then when I'm flying around, I decide as I'm re-ingling in my head when I'm flying around, I decide which part I want to look which way. Then I'll go back into my hangar, redesign it, send it out flying again, and see what I'd like to have it differently.
When you say you imagine flying it, do you mean like how when you're watching Star Trek, where you're watching it and you're watching it fly, or do you mean where you imagine it actually like from the captain's seat or something?
I imagine third person, of course.
Third person as a watcher.
Yeah, my second person. I don't know what second person
So
is.
what it would look like in
second
real
person's
life,
from in front of you.
or what it would look like on a show? What it would look like in real life, or what it would look like in a show? Like a third person watching from like how we watch airplanes, or like when you're actually
chase,
watching.
a third person chase. So like Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah. Into the example of a Star Trek ship. But basically, here's my ship, and I follow it around. Right? I'm not just standing on the ground watching my ship fly around. No, I follow it around. So I can change my angle, and I built a lightsaber. I was designing my design for a lightsaber today, and so first I have inspiration. Okay? I have some sort of movie, show, picture, some idea. Usually like a show, Star Trek, Dark Matter, Star Wars, clip, game that inspires me. Once I have the idea of I want to make this, then I either watch more clips from the show, movie, whatever, or I look up like images, like on Google, and I just search in a keyword, and I take bits I like from what I design, right, and I kind of piece them together into kind of a Frankenstein model, which I then disassemble and reassemble into a, more cleanly cut model, right? One of the problems with, yes, it definitely does create very, very pretty designs, but it does, as I said, take a long time because I have to design it, and usually my way to design, the reason why I get designs is I use my hands to kind of draw a virtual image, kind of as if, like one of sci-fi movies, like a little hologram, or I can draw.
That's cute.
Can draw midair.
Yeah.
Except, I don't have an actual hologram, but hey, I have my mind.
But I think that
so
technology does exist, or at least in a lot of, I don't know, even the detective
There,
shows they have.
There are Xbox and other gaming platforms. They have a sensor, and so when you move your hand, you can control the game or whatever.
Yeah. Like Wii, Y, or what? What is it called?
Similar to, yeah, sure. No, Wii is a console.
Yeah. No, I thought they had Wii games where you could
Yeah, I don't think it's called Wii. Maybe it's called Wii. Like PlayStation, they have the virtual room. Xbox has their little tiny. Nowadays, you have gamer sticks, virtual game sticks is what it's called. I think something like that. Basically, little tiny joystick-like things that you stick in your hand, and you go like this.
But then you have to hold it. I thought you had a hand. You could.
Yeah, you grip onto the sticks,
Uh-huh.
and there's little buttons triggering on the sticks, and you wear goggles, and sticks become your virtual hands in game. And that they have gyrosticks inside sticks.
Uh-huh.
But kind of a reverse version of that, instead of having gyrosticks inside your hands,
Uh-huh.
instead having a sensor tracking your hands.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen that very often. It's something I really have at the local library that has that. I tried out once, but it's not exactly very popular. VR with little hand sticks are much more popular. But the idea could theoretically, and then if you had a holographic system, like an actual holographic system, not one of the ones using light. Using glass, which cheats, and you cannot actually do holographic stuff. If you could create an actual holographic projection, then a couple of hand sensors, you could theoretically draw using your fingers as a 3D doodler pen. Kind of. Unfortunately, we're just creating an actual real hologram that acts like, Star Wars, Star Trek hologram is just about impossible. Star Wars hologram, a little bit closer to reality than Star Trek hologram, which you actually can interact with. Star Wars hologram you can't interact with, remember? But, the idea is you shine light at stuffing, but that's how the glass works, glass holograms. But you want to be able to shine it midair. It's possible you could use electromagnetic field of some sort to sustain some particles, kind of water drops that create a rainbow. You could kind of sustain some particles midair, and theoretically you could have a complicated sensor algorithm that moves them out of their way your hand when you put your hand in, and you could draw. And then the light will get reflected off certain particles and away certain particles. And then, yeah, it's very complicated and very theoretical, but it could theoretically be done. For now, you have to use your imagination and pen, paper, or stylus and computer nowadays. pen and paper's a thing of the past. Sorry, guys, but really, stylus and computers much better. You have a new thing called a slate. It's a thing that allows you to write with the little stylus and transfer it to your computer. There's tons of new fancy new Love-Note computer for about a little while ago. Allows you to do that.
In fact, if anybody is listening to this and would like to buy him a slate, we would really, really appreciate it.
Yes. And I don't particularly like drawing, but I think if I had something like that, I might be more,
Inclined.
yeah, I'm more inclined.
But you
draw.
would still practice in your notebook drawing too.
Maybe.
You wouldn't be allowed to do the slate unless
Maybe,
you
fine.
also practice
Yeah, I know
pen
I
and
can do
paper.
both. I can do both. Remember, I
You can do
play underneath
both.
that. Actually, there's a Love-Note computer where there's the touchpad, the keyboard is kind of a touchpad or something. I don't know exactly how it works. But you stick a piece of paper down on top of the touchpad or the sensor plate, and you write on the piece of paper, and it gets transferred through the paper. You use a stylus. It's kind of also a pen. It's kind of a magnetic pen that transfers to the sensor.
Well, the one I saw that I really liked was the
Kind of
idea of a
magnetic cells.
pen, and then you put it. It's a little ring that you attach to the pen.
Yeah, so it's a magnetic ring.
Right.
Yeah, but again, a focusing ring.
Yeah.
That focuses its magnetic field on a small point, so that the sensor can pick it up.
Yeah.
The sensor plate. Yeah, that's how magnetic cells is working. Something like that. Yeah. So yeah, one of those little tiny things. Those are really nice. So then I can do stuff in my notebook and also edit it later on the computer.
Now, if you just gave us money right now, we would use the money to paying bills, but you could just mail it to him. Oh, well, then you have to know our address, which we're not giving out right now. But
If you have a P.O. box. If you have a P.O. box.
we don't have a P.O. box yet.
We need to get one for business owners.
Yeah. But the
Well,
idea
you can email us if
is
you want to mail us one.
you could help us pay the bills, so then we can the next thing after paying the bills that we would
Yes.
put money towards is putting it towards items for the business, like having decent microphones, so that you can hear.
That's lower quality. It's not needed immediately. But
Well, I
yes.
don't know. I have a suspect that people are going to be wanting to hear you better.
Yes. Once I have enough money, then I will look for microphones, like little neck attached microphones you attach your
Yeah.
shirt or whatever.
You used to
Yeah.
have a really loud voice, but lately, and I don't know if it's partly because of the divorce
Maybe.
or if it started beforehand. I think even actually the whole last 2 years. Maybe it was because of all the
I think
stress.
it's easier for me to project my voice when I'm singing. When I'm singing, I can sing loudly because usually I don't actually sing. I hum, and because of the resonating in my jaw, I can project the resonation.
Well, I've noticed it makes a difference, one, on how much sleep you've had, two, what the topic is,
Yes, that's what the topic is.
three, who you're talking to.
What I'm paying attention to, if I'm paying attention to make my voice louder. Yeah.
Yeah, like when we're in the
As I
kitchen
said, definitely
too.
it's hard. I mean, when I'm talking, if I try to break, depending on how much effort I put into it, if I go too loud and I start to yell, which sounds differently to me talking, there's
I'm
an
trying
actual
to think.
difference.
The only time you ever yell is when you're really, really mad at me. Well, no, earlier today, like when you were cheering me up for being in the picture or something.
Get out of the picture. Okay,
But like right now, your voice is a lot quieter than you were this afternoon. Like if we were to do
Really?
this conversation in the afternoon, I think your voice would be a lot louder.
I don't know. I think my voice is pretty loud.
Right now?
Especially when I'm paying attention.
Right now, it's a little bit more gravelly and tired than you normally are.
Eh,
But it's late,
whatever.
so we should
Yeah.
probably go to sleep soon anyways.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think the fish is probably done by now. So, yeah, but yeah, it would be great. So if, what was I saying earlier? Oh, if you were hearing this and paying attention to this, if you would help.
Yes, I'll get a Patreon page so you can support us through Patreon if you have a Patreon account. Otherwise, I think she'll put a PayPal link up
Yeah,
so you can support us through PayPal.
and just help us towards paying off, like getting the equipment necessary to make this vlog.
Once we pay off the bills.
Once we pay off the bills. First we pay off the bills, then we get the equipment for this, and I think the first thing was the microphones, because I think that's important, and then the next thing is the skits, like, because you can practice drawing on your notebook It's not a necessity. It's just
No,
something
this
that would
like
help.
it does not have to be coming anytime soon. I mean, because actually, usually when I'm designing, I come up with the design,
Mhm.
and I think, now how exactly am I going to stick this into OpenSCAD? It's going to take a lot of work, isn't it? Well, I guess I'll do all the work. Because it takes a lot of work. I mean, it shouldn't, but because I actually, most of the time that I spend on OpenSCAD is, I copy and paste most of the code. I like typing. So I copy and paste the code from earlier designs.
Oh, from earlier. So
Yeah, but most of the time, almost 90% of the time that I take is all spent in playing with numbers, because I have to make sure that the numbers are the right numbers so that it looks just right, fit just that way a little bit. Okay, now just a little bit smaller. The angle just a little bit more.
in the details.
Geometry in the 3D world is really hard.
Maybe
Right,
there's
right,
something we can do
position
to help
stuff and-
make it easier for you.
I have to do lots of complicated. I actually probably do a lot more math doing it that way than anything more.
That's good.
Because I have to calculate, like, when I'm making a cube, say I'm making a cube, it comes from one of the corners, the lower left corner. So if I want to position the cube just right, I have to calculate the length of the cube and add it together with position the cube and subtract it and do lots of fancy stuff to it so that I can position the cube just right so that both sides are equal. Because, yeah.
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 Alrighty. Well, let's go get you some fish, and
Yeah.
then
And hey, maybe I can, I've made lots of 3D designs so I can post them and post pictures of them. And maybe once I get my new designs, I can post pictures of them too.
Yep.
Ego's Journey, signing off.
All right. Remember to treat everybody with love and compassion. All right. Bye-bye. Night.